Okay. Can you see this screen slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
these were the things which we were discussing in the last class. Basically, we were trying to understand how the age of the art is being determined, right? Regarding that, we were discussing about radiogenic isotopes, or you can say radiogenic elements which are being used in order to determine the age of the earth. Plus, we were also talking about carbon dating, and eventually we were able to understand that carbon dating is a technique which is not that feasible or encourageable to use for dating of the earth old age, right? So there are some people who are disturbing me. Okay, so these things were understood, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Morning. Nota. Have you talked to the HDs, sir?
Yes.
सर बोले हैं 10 बजे तक आ जाएंगे.
ट्राई करते हैं अगर हो सके तो आएंगे.
ठीक है. Okay. Then why you have taken that hall?
Sir, that informally program.
Okay. ठीक. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So this is understood, right? That whenever we use any isotope or anything which is used for dating, definitely we have to use a radiogenic element. Correct?
Yes, sir.
These radiogenic elements have to be trapped or be a part of something, then only we can date. And yes, in the last class, we were also discussing that most of the rocks, they doesn't represent the oldest crust because due to plate tectonic movements, which we will be discussing in the last part of this particular lithosphere section. So due to multiple variables, okay, which also include plate tectonics, due to which most of the rock which have produced or which were have been produced at the earliest time, they might not have been survived. They have died. Okay. However, we also understood that there is a word known as minerals. Okay. Minerals are capable of recording that particular age of the earth. So today we will be trying to discuss about those minerals which are eventually helpful in dating the age of the earth. So first of all, mineral. We'll be discussing about what is a mineral, what are the different types of mineral in a different class, which will definitely after some portion is taken, then only we'll discuss. But as of now, just keep in mind that whenever we date age, we need radiogenic isotopes or radiogenic elements. Those elements are found trapped in minerals. Okay. There are many minerals which are used for dating, and those minerals should have the capacity to hold radioactive elements in its structure. Okay. Say for example, you have a mineral. This mineral name is zircon or zircon. Okay. This is basically ZrSiO4. It is composed of zirconium, silicon and oxygen. It is basically a zirconium silicate. Okay. This mineral has a capacity to trap radioactive elements within its structure. Okay. Now you might be thinking, or if not you are thinking, then let me ask you to think that if you see the mineral formula, there is no element which is representing a radiogenic isotope. Zirconium, which is not a radiogenic isotope. Si silicon is also not a radiogenic isotope. Plus oxygen is also not a radiogenic isotope. So definitely a question comes how they are used for dating. Any idea? If not, they have any kind of elements which are radiogenic in nature, then how we can date? Any idea? Yes, I am talking to you all. Again, I am repeating. This is an interaction what we are having. So in interaction, you have to say something, at least what you feel or what you understand.
Sir, can you say that again, sir? Did not get that properly.
Which
Whatever
one?
you asked. Sir, whatever you asked just now.
Yes, sir.
See, if you, I had told that this is an mineral which is considered to be a robust geochronometer. That means which is used for dating. However, if you see the chemistry of this mineral, which is zirconium silicate, ZrSiO4, none of the minerals are radiogenic. Then how it is possible to date this particular mineral? Any idea?
Sir, some isotopes of these elements are radioactive.
Yeah, that those some isotopes are zirconium, silicon, and oxygen. None of these are isotopic or radiogenic. Then how it is possible?
So their reaction with
Sir, maybe they occur in such kind of environment where in their surrounding radioactivity is found or something.
Okay, in high secondary, you have gone through some geochemical rules. Have you studied geochemical rules? Goldsmith geochemical rules.
no sir.
No, sir.
No, sir, can't remember.
Okay. So let me tell you, if you have a element X, ठीक है, one element, ये जो ऊपर हम लिखते हैं इसको क्या बोलते हैं?
Iron, sir.
He is giving 4 electron.
Yeah.
Valency.
Valency or charge.
Charge.
Right? ठीक है.
Yes, sir.
अभी यहाँ जो हम लिखते हैं, say for example 238, इसको क्या बोलते हैं?
Atomic mass.
Atomic mass.
ठीक है. If you consider you have an element X, जिसका atomic mass M है, one more element Y, जिसका atomic mass similar to M है, ठीक है, similar to that of M, then there is a possibility that X will be replaced by Y. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes sir.
ठीक है.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Ionic radius भी होता है. ठीक है. This is regarding mass. Say for example, ionic radius of X and Y they are similar. Then also there is a possibility of substituting one element by other. That means one mineral can be replaced by other. Understood? And the third one is if a mineral or if a element have similar charge. There is also a possibility of one mineral replacing the other. Understood?
Yes sir.
Now let us come to this mineral. See, for your reference, this mineral named zircon is one of the mostly used mineral for dating. Okay. So if you see ZrSiO4, इसमें जो Zr है, जिरकोनियम का चार्ज कोई बता सकेगा? वैलेंसी कितना हो सकता है?
+2.
Yes, sir. +2.
Yes, sir. Plus
Okay,
Yes.
+4. ठीक है. और एक रेडियो एक्टिव एलिमेंट का बोलो तो जिसका +4 है.
प्लैटिनम मतलब वो
Yes, sir.
रेडियोएक्टिव्स नहीं है बट
हाँ.
यूरेनियम
Mostly used
Radioactivity or
elements.
radioactive?
Mostly,
Sorry, sorry.
see, radioactive elements, we understand radioactivity from uranium only, most of the elements. Okay, we understand more about radioactivity from an element known as uranium. So uranium का charge भी +4 है. So there is always a possibility of uranium or zirconium will be substituted by uranium. That means in the structure of zircon, sites of uranium or zirconium will be basically replaced by uranium +4. And ये दोनों का जो atomic size है, it is similar, 1 angstrom, almost equal to 1 angstrom. So there is a high possibility of uranium to replace zirconium in the structure of zircon. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So these things will happen at what time? Definitely it has to happen when the condition of a mineral, when it is forming, it should be such that their element can replace one another. That is only possible when a particular mineral is precipitating from the melt. Mineral कहाँ से produce होता है? Definitely, अगर आप magma सुने हो, lava सुने हो, definitely it has to precipitate from magma or lava. By saying magma and lava, what I'm trying to make, what you understand, it is basically a molten stage of rock. Understood?
Yes.
Whenever you have a rock, if you increase the temperature of that particular rock, it will melt after some time. उसका melting point cross हो जाने के बाद वो melt हो जाएगा. Similarly, if you drop the temperature, definitely it will crystallize whenever it is beyond the melting point. Understood? ये तो
Yes,
सबको पता है.
Yes.
Similarly, while producing a mineral like zircon, when it precipitates from the melt, that time there is a high possibility of the element zirconium to be replaced by uranium in the structure of zircon. So this is how you get uranium entrapped or trapped within zircon. So there are many minerals in addition to zircon which basically entrap different radioactive minerals. One another element is thorium. ठीक है? Samarium. Samarium से नाइडीमियम बनता है. ठीक है? Lutetium से हैफनियम बनता है. पोटासियम से आर्गन बनता है. ठीक है? These all elements, रुबिडियम से स्ट्रोंशियम बनता है. These all elements are high possibility of getting entrapped in different types of minerals. So accordingly, we can use those elements as a proxy to understand the age of the earth. Is this understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any idea of from where might have we have found the oldest age? कहाँ से हमको मिला है?
Don't know, sir.
Don't know, right? There is a hill named Jack Hill in Australia. ठीक है? From this hill, we have found the oldest evidence of earth age from a mineral known as zircon. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is understood now.
Sir,
Yes. Any query?
sir, by replacing zirconium by uranium, how do you get to know the age?
By replacing. Say for example, zirconium plus 4 is being replaced by uranium plus 4. Okay. When it is replaced by uranium plus 4, so it become an integral part of this mineral. है कि नहीं?
Yes.
Now consider that mineral has precipitated. That means it is separated from the melt. So immediately when it is separated from the melt, just because this is radioactive, it will start disintegrating. है कि नहीं?
Yes.
It will start producing lead. Say for example, this was the age 4.5 billion years में एक एलिमेंट यूरेनियम एलिमेंट इस पर्टिकुलर मिनरल में घुसा ट्रैप्ड हो गया. From that time onwards it will start radiating and accordingly it will produce radiogenic lead. Whatever daughter lead is being produced, so eventually that amount of uranium has been decayed, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This
Yes, sir.
replacement
Yes.
is done naturally. We do not do that.
Yes.
That this replacement is done naturally by
हाँ,
nature.
natural process जैसे radioactive decay होता है.
I thought, sir, we are replacing them.
Who is replacing?
We humans are replacing.
No.
I thought.
No. We have no role in case of art history. We don't have any role. Okay? We cannot replace all these minerals. Okay. On the contrary, we should be thankful enough to these minerals because only because of these minerals we are here. Okay. So say for example, ऐसे हो गया. So definitely as of today, say for example, as of today, if you are able to calculate or determine the amount of uranium, lead in a particular part of this mineral, that means if you are able to calculate or determine absolute amount of uranium and lead, definitely you can back calculate the age. Understood? Uranium से lead produce हो रहा है. Both are being trapped within the grain zircon. Okay. If you are able to determine the amount of uranium and amount of lead, definitely from that you can calculate the age. Age is what? It is basically how much lead you are getting. On that basis only you will be able to determine the initial uranium. So initial uranium को जब calculate करने जाओगे, definitely you will get the age. Because the half-life of uranium is constant. Understood?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
You have two variables whose amount you know, and you have one constant. So definitely from that you can find the age.
Sir, but we don't know the amount of actual uranium that was there in the rock. We only know how much it is decomposed. So how can we do that?
We know the concentration of leads. Then we
Back calculate. See, we know that this mineral doesn't have any kind of lead. Initially, there is no possibility of getting lead in this particular mineral because if this mineral doesn't allow lead to get replaced by any of the minerals. So definitely whatever lead we get, that has to be radiogenic. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है? That means whatever area is being given, say for example इसी रूम में कोई आया, say for example उसका एक घड़ी है टाइटन वाला, वो खोल के चला गया और उसके बाद इस रूम पे कोई नहीं आया, ठीक है? उसको पता है कि इसी रूम में छूटा है, तो वो आके वो घड़ी अगर उसको मिलता है, वो उसी का घड़ी, मेरा वाला नहीं, तो डेफिनेटली दैट बिलोंग्स टू यू, belongs to him. It's almost like that. Just because we are not giving it, that means we know that element, that mineral doesn't has initial lead. So whatever lead is coming, it will come from uranium decay only. And if you know the absolute amount of lead, we can back calculate the initial amount of uranium. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this part is understood, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Hmm.
Sorry for interruption, but someone is continuously removing me from the meeting. Could you please make everyone attendees?
The same for me. Someone is removing.
This was a new class, right? तो जो मेरा पहला लिंक था उसमें ये क्लास चालू नहीं हुआ है ना, किसी ने लिंक बना के?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, so
Yes,
क्या-
sir. Someone else has started and everyone is present, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
fine.
sir.
What is her name?
So you can change the setting.
Yeah, definitely I can change the setting, but wait.
Sir, we can remove you also.
हाँ, understood. हाँ, understood. वो हर क्लास में एक दो ऐसा रहता ही है जिसको और कुछ काम नहीं. Whenever at the end of the day, जब एग्जाम का रिजल्ट आ जाएगा, वो वही लड़का बोलेगा कि सर आज मैंने एग्जाम बहुत अच्छे से दिया था, मुझे मार्क्स कैसे कम मिले. I don't know in which meeting I have joined. मेरे वाले में मैं नहीं ज्वाइन किया हूँ, सो वहाँ उसको मैं एडिट नहीं कर सकता. ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, देख लेते हैं, और थोड़ा अगर वो प्रॉब्लम करता है तो हम दूसरे वाले लिंक में चले जाएंगे. ठीक है?
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
But definitely the person who has started the meeting, now I don't want to go into the detail. I will definitely come to know who has started the meeting. So accordingly, I will definitely remove him from the meeting. Not only meeting, वो घुस ही नहीं पाएगा, वो कभी नहीं क्लास कर पाएगा, एटलीस्ट ऑनलाइन वाला. और ऑफलाइन वाला में तो वो आएगा ही, तब देख लेंगे. ठीक है? So this was all about the age of the art. ठीक है? Just now I told that we should be thankful to the minerals just because of them only we are here. ठीक है? The uniqueness of our lithosphere is so, that means our lithosphere is so unique. The only reason why we are here is only because of the lithosphere. ठीक है? It's not necessarily that oxygen is always required. There are bacteria which can survive in reducing environment also. कोई एक नाम बता सकते हो ऐसा एक बैक्टीरिया का?
सर सल्फर बैक्टीरिया एक पता नहीं उसका
हाँ,
नाम याद
sulfur.
नहीं आ
है?
सर हर के
वो ग्राम होता है ना, ग्राम के रूट्स में तो लगता है, वो बैक्टीरिया का नाम क्या है?
सर लेगुमिनस प्लांट के.
हाँ, उनके बैक्टीरिया, उनके नाइट्रोजन फिक्सेशन करने के लिए जो बैक्टीरिया लगता है,
राइजोबियम.
हाँ, वो कहाँ
Rhizobium.
वो कहाँ प्रोड्यूस होता है? That is basically a reducing bacteria, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Because it reduces the nitrogen. ठीक है? So thereby they are survive they can survive easily in the reducing environment. There are multiple bacteria which can survive in reducing environment. So there is always possibility of life in reducing environment as well. ठीक है? So हम अगर वैसे ही start करते हैं तो definitely हम भी without oxygen रह पाते हैं. ठीक है? That is beyond the point evolution of human beings or evolution of life. But life came into existence in our planet. So thereby I was telling that just because of the uniqueness of our lithosphere, we have all these different spheres. Lithosphere gave rise to our atmosphere. Both of them togetherly worked and gave our hydrosphere, and subsequently, just because these three were there, we got our biosphere. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So how it is possible? It is only possible when we have a unique lithosphere. What is the uniqueness of our lithosphere? The uniqueness of our lithosphere is that we have minerals in our lithosphere which basically traps H2O, water, in its structure. Can you see this mineral?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
मेरे हाथ में कुछ छोटा सा एक काला सा कुछ है दिख रहा है?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Definitely you'll be not able to understand this particular mineral what it is, but the uniqueness of this mineral is that it has H2O in it. H2O ऐसा नहीं है कि इसको दबा के पानी निकल आएगा आप पी जाओगे, ऐसा नहीं है. ठीक है? Whenever you melt this particular mineral, definitely H2O will evaporate.
Sir, it's kind of shiny little bit.
Yeah, it is a mica mineral.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
ठीक है? White mica and black mica सुने हो?
Yes, sir.
व्हाइट माइका जो गालों में मतलब लगाते हैं ना?
Yes, sir.
पोटैश है.
हाँ. So this is black mica. This is known as biotite. ठीक है? This is known as biotite. This is one of those minerals. There are many minerals which has H2O in it structure. If we go by the chemical formula or molecular that means formula of biotite, it is a mineral composed of, I'm not going with the absolute formula. Okay? I'm giving you the rough distribution of elements. So it has potassium, silicon, aluminium, oxygen. Okay? ये इसका सीक्वेंस अलग है, सॉरी. सिलिकॉन, एल्यूमिनियम, गलत हो रहा है. के एफ
Al2Si2O8 I think sir.
इंटरनेट से देख के बोल रहे हो, ऐसे थोड़ी ना होता है.
No sir. Kal2Si2O8 I think.
FeMg K AlSiO. ठीक है? This mineral has Fe and Mg, potassium, aluminium, silicon and oxygen. This is a part of this mineral. In addition to that, it also has OH. OH मतलब क्या है? H2O. If you consider this whole portion together as 100%, then it will directly have 10% of H2O. That means this mineral has at near and about 10% of H2O trapped within it. There is a mineral known as chloride, जिसमें 18% तक water रहता है. Clay minerals, they absorb up to 22% of water. ठीक है? Clay minerals are very porous, right? But they are not permeable. So if as of now you just remember these two minerals. These two minerals, they are out of many minerals, they are those minerals which has water in it. अभी पानी रहने से क्या फर्क पड़ रहा है बोलते? कोई कुछ इंपॉर्टेंस है? पानी अगर मिनरल में है, water, if water is there in the mineral, does it make any sense? Yes, I'm asking you all.
No, sir. It can volcano and then it can evaporate water and rain can happen.
If we have water trapped in a mineral, if it melts, definitely there is no point, right? All the water will get evaporated.
Yes.
Right, Hers?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now this evaporated water. See, if you go by the possible stages of our art, whatever we see as of today, the same shape and size or the architecture, whatever we do have, India southern hemisphere or northern hemisphere के बीच में है, और India northern hemisphere में, Australia southern hemisphere में है, ठीक है? All this distribution of Pacific Ocean in कहाँ है, Indian Ocean कहाँ है, all this distribution, whatever we did have today, it is solely different as if you compare with the earliest stage of the art. It was basically started from a hot ball of magma. Okay. Our planet started as a agglomeration of hot ball of magma. All that means a part of magma from the solar system agglomerated together. Okay. Initially this was the architecture. Everything was hot, including there was no crust. Then initially, after some time, the crust got formed, and eventually we got our present architecture. In the present architecture, what we have? In the present architecture, what we have? ये तो थोड़ा बहुत जानते हो.
All the force.
Core metal, crust.
अच्छा no, अच्छा internal structure.
Core, mantle, and crust. Initially, none of this was there. Everything was magma. ठीक है. अभी जहां भी हम volcanic activity देखते हैं, volcanic activity, what does it mean? It means that the magma inside the earth, it is coming to the crust, to the atmosphere, right? And accordingly, volcanic eruption is taking place. So what does it mean? It means that still the internal of our earth is hot. Is it understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
initially, everything from here to here, from east to west, everything was in molten stage. Okay.
That means the internal magma is cooling down.
Yeah, we'll come to that. Okay. So now consider if you have a, say for example, आप एक आलू boil किए हो. You have boiled an egg. Okay. Whenever you separate that potato from the boiled water, so initially what will happen to that potato?
The upper surface cools down.
Every part of that potato will be hot, right? Initially when you separate it out. But after some time, what you may see, that potato have cooled down. ठीक है, वो धीरे-धीरे cool करेगा. So if you consider, say for example, you have separated that particular potato from the water. After 1 minute, if you see, the surface of that potato is cooled down. But if you cut that potato, you will see that the inside is still hot. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Again after 5 minutes, if you see, everything has cooled down. Right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So that potato, जो 1 minute के बाद निकाले थे, that the upper part will be little bit softer, however the inside part will be little bit hard, because वो नीचे अभी भी गर्म है. Okay. That is beside the point. So what is happening to that small potato or egg? What is happening? Initially, transfer of heat is taking place. है कि नहीं? So that transfer of heat will take place initially from where? Say for example, you have a potato, hot potato. The whole part of that potato is hot. So initially it will radiate heat, right? It will radiate heat from where?
So from surface.
Surrounding.
From the surface, right? So the same thing has happened to the earth also initially. That means started radiating heat to the nearby atmosphere. So accordingly, what happened? After some time, say for example, the initial surface was 1600 degrees Celsius. After some time, after few million years, it got transferred to 200 degrees Celsius. तो अभी क्या होगा? 1600 degrees Celsius से 200 degrees Celsius drop हुआ temperature. So definitely the minerals which are having a melting point below 200 degrees Celsius, they will crystallize. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So eventually what we'll get? We will get a layer which is different from the inner layers. How it is different? If this is, now what will happen? Just because the minerals have crystallized, this will react as a solid or rigid body. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
However, the internal part will be still in melt condition, or you can say magma. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So in this way, what we got? We got a segregated layer of crust. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this transfer of heat from the internal part of the earth is still going on. Just because it is still going on, we call our planet as a dynamic planet. Just because we have an engine inside which is running. Okay. On the contrary, if you consider any of the other planets, they are known as dead planets. Because there is no more internal heat present in those planets. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, बाकी सब जो प्लेनेट है ना वो आलू का जैसा हो गया है, पूरा ठंडा हो गया है नीचे से ऊपर तक. That means from the innermost part to the outermost part, they are fully cooled down. There is nothing like segregated layers of crust mantle core. Everything, whatever is there, it is basically crust. That means wherever you go, you will find only solid. There is nothing like liquid layers. Understood? That difference is making our planet a different planet. Thereby, Earth is known as a dynamic planet. We go after Moon and Mars, Mongolian and Chandrayaan. Okay. Just because we understood that these two planets were also, that means these two extraterrestrial bodies also acted as our planet acted till a particular time. They had a segregated layer of crust and core in both these two planets. So there is a possibility that there may be some evidence which might support for life. Life evolved नहीं हो अलग बात, but there might have मतलब possibility हो सकता है. So thereby we are searching for giving more interest to these two planets or extraterrestrial bodies because they acted in the similar way how what our Earth is still acting. Okay? Is this
Sir,
understood?
why don't
Hmm?
why don't sir?
Yes, yes.
Sir, why
Rishabh?
don't we search about other planets?
No, I am not able to understand. Why don't we
Search about other planets.
search? Yeah, we are still searching. But there is no point in landing up directly going to Jupiter without any cause, right? We should have some evidences. Then only there is a possibility of going somewhere else. Right?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sir, one doubt.
Yes.
Sir, if the Earth gets cooled down till the core of the Earth, so sir, will it affect the biodiversity of our planet,
Not
our
only
life?
biodiversity, it will affect everything. If there is a slowdown of the movement of the Earth also, which is all because of the gravitational forces, whatever is acting, and centripetal force बोलते हैं ना, वो सब थोड़ा सा भी slow down हो जाएगा तो सब में effect पड़ेगा. It will basically initially affect the atmosphere, right? Whenever there is a chaos in the atmosphere, the eventual effect comes to whom? We human beings only. है कि नहीं?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Some days, sometimes the rainfall
Yes.
is too high. Does these trees give a damn? No. Sometimes the heat is, today the heat is too hot. Do these trees give a damn? No. That is we only. So it will affect the most to the biodiversity and eventually it will affect us. There will be no, after some time, there will be no possibility of any kind of life in our planet. ठीक है? Evolve जैसे हुए थे ना, ऐसे खत्म भी हो जाएंगे. Now are you able to understand?
सर अर्थ
How
धीरे धीरे अंदर से कूल हो रहा है क्या?
नहीं अभी cool नहीं हो. हाँ. The rate of cooling is subsequently decreased as of now.
Why, sir?
Initially the crust, initially the rate of cooling was high. Why? Because, say for example, initially I'm talking about this one. So this particular hot magma, ये cool होगा तो कहाँ cool होगा? Direct surface से अपने सामने वाला जगह पे जाएगा. That is basically the atmosphere, right? So there is no hindrance to transfer heat to the atmosphere because it is transferring from the topmost surface. है कि नहीं? Now it is not possible because the heated part, it is below the earth. And it is covered by a rigid crust, जो heat को नीचे से आने के लिए रोकता है. Wherever there is a crack found in form of volcanic activities, we are able to see that the heat is being distributed, or you can say transferred. But that rate is decreased as of now. ठीक है?
Yes,
Understood?
sir.
Because
Yes, sir,
we
understood.
have an envelope. That means if you say that the core is the hottest part from where continuously the heat is being radiated, we have crust as of now, which is obstructing or creating hindrance to transfer that heat. However, in form of different forms, the heat is being radiated. Radioactive heat है, ठीक है? लेकिन the rate is being decreased. Understood? So someone told
Yes, sir.
that while discussing, someone told that yes, definitely, अगर कोई एक mineral में H2O है, it doesn't has any role to play because eventually that H2O will be liberated to the atmosphere. It will evaporate, right? Yes or no?
Yes, yes, sir.
This evaporation. So I was saying that initially the lithosphere got formed. This evaporation of H2O will go where? To the atmosphere only. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
From the initial part of the earth formation, the mass of the earth is almost same with plus minus कुछ थोड़ा सा डिक्रीज हुआ है मास, बिकॉज दैट volatile elements have got to the atmosphere. So just because we have that mass from the initial day of the formation of Earth, definitely we have gravity. So whenever there is gravity, definitely there will be an envelope which will be created due to that gravity, which is known as atmosphere. Correct? Not necessarily only Earth has atmosphere. All the other extraterrestrial bodies, due to gravity, they have atmosphere. Jupiter, yes, they have atmosphere. Saturn, yes, they have atmosphere. Moon, yes, they have atmosphere. The atmospheric composition is different, but all the extraterrestrial bodies, they have their individual atmosphere because everything is to do with the gravity. Is this understood?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
definitely the same H2O जो हम बोल रहे हैं ना, वो जाके कहाँ ट्रैप्ड होगा? वो एटमॉस्फेयर में रह जाएगा कि नहीं?
Yes, sir.
So this atmosphere, which is having H2O in form of clouds, after some time, this H2O will what happen? They will form clouds. They will attain condensation, and definitely they will precipitate, which today we know as water cycle. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. So thereby लास्ट में क्या प्रोड्यूस होगा? हाइड्रोस्फीयर प्रोड्यूस होगा. ठीक है. दिस लिथोस्फीयर, एटमॉस्फेयर, हाइड्रोस्फीयर ऐसा नहीं कि वो एक ही दिन में प्रोड्यूस हुआ है. इट इवॉल्व्ड. ठीक है. If you consider the atmosphere of our Earth, initially it was reducing in condition. ठीक है. That means the level of oxygen in the atmosphere was less. ठीक है. See, whenever I talk about biotite or any mineral, say for example जरकन में भी हम बात करते हैं ZiSiO4, इसमें भी ऑक्सीजन है. ठीक है. The most abundant element in the earth is what? Oxygen only. Just because we have abundant amount of oxygen in the crust of the earth, definitely the atmosphere is also oxygen rich. But this oxygen rich atmosphere, this has not produced in one go. It has eventually produced. Okay. Initially, the atmospheric condition of our planet was reducing. After a particular time, it started to get oxidized, and now we are having an oxygenated atmosphere. Understood? Similarly,
Yes, sir.
the ocean water, whatever composition we do has, it was not the same in the initial time. It got evolved. पहले बहुत acidic था. You cannot even touch the ocean water. Now you can play around. ठीक है. पी नहीं सकते because of the amount of salt. But yes, you can play around with that particular water. So everything got evolved. Understood? And just because we have all the three components, atmosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere, we got our biosphere. Understood? We have sulfur
Yes,
rich
sir.
atmosphere in case of Jupiter, because Jupiter's lithosphere is more on, उसमें तो lithosphere है ही नहीं, वो तो पूरा ही crust है. Jupiter का जो crust है, it is more abundant of sulfur. So therefore we have sulfur rich atmosphere in Jupiter. ठीक है. Now this evolution of the lithosphere. Lithosphere भी evolve हुआ है. Crust, mantle, core वो धीरे धीरे form हुआ है. Atmosphere, it evolved. The hydrosphere, it evolved. The sole reason for evolution of our atmosphere hydrosphere is the lithosphere. And how it does? Say for example, a volcanic activity took place. Volcano होता है तो क्या होता है? Along with the melt, it liberates lot of gases. है कि नहीं? Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
These gases are basically composed of volatile elements. Say for example, hydrogen रहेगा, oxygen रहेगा. अब जो भी नाम बोल लो volatile, CH4 रहेगा, मीथेन, पीटेन, बहुत कुछ रहेगा. ठीक है? So they will go to the atmosphere. With the number of more volcanic activities, the number of gases will be also more. In the earlier crust, just because there was no chance of, there was no crust, so all the volatile they went to the atmosphere and they form our envelope of atmosphere. Then gradually it got evolved. Okay. So the main salient points which are important is transfer of heat, the continuous transfer of heat, decrease in temperature with time. With time, the temperature of the earth is decreasing. The rate of decreasing temperature was way higher in the older time, but now it is gradually decreasing. That means the temperature is decreasing, but at a very slow pace. Sun is the main source of energy since initial time. It is constant. Sun is the main source of energy. The Earth's elemental composition, okay, gave all the ingredients for which eventually provided its sustainability. Whatever we are talking about, or that means the life is sustaining in our planet only because of the composition. Okay. And accordingly accordingly all the spheres around Earth start growing. So this internal structure of the Earth is produced due to all the possible stages of the Earth. Okay. So from day one itself, there was no such like crust or mantle or core. These were eventual product of transfer of heat. Okay. This is the internal structure of the Earth. I'll be not going into detail of this one because it is known to you all, because you have gone through in your class 10, class 9, class 8 सब में पढ़े होंगे ना ज्योग्राफी में.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, in class 9.
But here one point we can discuss is how we can understand the internal structure of the lithosphere. How? जैसे रिमोट सेंसिंग, कोई सैटेलाइट जाके कोई प्लेन से जाके फोटो ले लिया तो हमारा क्या हो गया? The outermost part is known. हमें दिख जाता है. In the same way, can we decode the internal structure of the Earth? Yes.
Yes, sir.
By the
Yes.
wave, sir.
What?
Wave, sir, wave.
What kind of wave? By using seismic waves. Seismic क्या
Sir,
है?
sonar waves.
सोनार तो पानी में यूज होता है.
Seismic land wave, sir. Earthquake में जो आता है.
हाँ, we can use or we use earthquake waves. ठीक है. So in order to decode the internal structure of the Earth, we use or any person uses earthquake waves. Earthquake waves are also known as seismic waves. Seismology. Okay. Earthquake waves are nothing but the waves which are generated whenever the earth is vibrated. Say for example, you are at your home, a big trolley, ट्रेन जाने से क्या होता है? शेक नहीं होता है वो एरिया. Whenever a train passes, that particular land is being shaken.
Yes, sir. Or heavy
Yeah.
vehicles.
Thereby we use big chunk of stones or rocks in the railway track. We don't make it cemented, right? We put stones because it vibrates. Whenever that vibration is produced or that vibration is created, definitely seismic waves will be produced. That seismic wave intensity will be less, but definitely seismic waves will be produced. ठीक है? So these are known as seismic waves. Why the importance of seismic waves is that we will be trying to understand about seismic wave in the next class. See, there are two types of waving whenever a seismic activity or earthquake is being produced. One is body waves. The other one is surface waves. By saying body waves means if you have this earth, body waves, यहाँ अगर earthquake हो रहा है, body waves has the tendency or capacity to penetrate into the body. Body मतलब क्या? Rigid body. ठीक है? वो अंदर घुस जाता है. Whereas surface waves, they are limited to the surface. Understood?
Sir, how the
Understood?
seismic, yes, sir, how the seismic waves differentiate the layers of the earth?
हाँ वही तो हम बात करेंगे. इसके लिए आपको ये बॉडी वेव्स क्या है और सरफेस वेव क्या है थोड़ा जानना होगा. सी वेव्स,
Okay, sir.
सोनार क्या करता है पानी के अंदर? You send signals, it goes, touches the body and come back to the place where detectors are there. This detector detects this particular wave. इसका जो time है, you know the frequency, that means you know the speed of the wave. You know the time. So if speed and time is known, you can calculate the distance. Understood? Is this
Yes, sir.
understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Have a ship. सोनार कहाँ यूज होता है? वो जो नीचे पानी के नीचे जाता है ना, उसका नाम क्या है? सबमराइन. सबमराइन में यूज होता है ना. So they send signals and the signals are being again ऐसे नहीं होता है, ऐसे करके आता है, उसी पे रिफ्लेक्ट बैक होता है. So they try to, they know the speed of the signal and they know the time at what that particular signal has reflected back. So accordingly, they can calculate the distance at what that particular obstruction or object is there. Understood? Similarly, the seismic waves, they generate waves in which the intensity or the speed of the wave is known and the time is also known. So we can find the distance. Okay. But here the difference is that there are two types of waves and there are two types of waves in category and body waves उसी में खुद में P and S और इसमें L waves. ये three types of waves है. These all three types of wave has different characteristics. One can penetrate through any medium, the other two cannot penetrate through liquid medium. Okay. So if you have P waves which has the capacity to penetrate while
Sir, you are not audible.
yeah, understood, वो जो कर रहा है उसको करने दो, ठीक है. The other one is the secondary way. It is restricted by the liquid layers. So whenever it find a liquid layer, the ray is being reflected back. So we know the speed, we know the time. So definitely we can find the distance at which that liquid layer is there. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
different segregated layers can be understood by the help of earthquake waves. We will be going into the detail of P and S wave in a later class. That means not in the subsequent class. ये syllabus में है लेकिन बाद में है. ठीक है, जब हम hazards के बारे में पढ़ेंगे, that time we will try to understand the whole about earthquake waves. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
These are two of the pictures which are shown to make you understand how the seismic waves are being used to in land and sea. Sea में होगा तो definitely एक ship लेके जाना होगा जो see seismic waves. Seismic wave हम कैसे produce कर सकते हैं? Say for example कभी पे भी कोई एक bomb का testing होता है, कोई detonator लेके फेंक दिया तो वहां that whenever that particular detonator blasts, what will happen? That ground will vibrate. ठीक है? So we cannot wait for earthquake. We know that earthquake waves produces this kind of waves. So earthquake waves are nothing but waves which are generated by the earth. We cannot wait for an earthquake to happen to understand the architecture of the internal, that means understand the internal structure of the earth. So what we have to do, we have to artificially create an earthquake. वो कैसे करेंगे? earthquake तो नहीं create कर पाएंगे, हम लोग seismic wave generate कर सकते हैं. How? We just go to a particular place of our interest. We make a hole in the earth and put a detonator. Detonator मतलब एक boom. असली वाला, वो दिवाली वाला नहीं. ठीक है? Then we bombard. Whenever that particular bomb or the detonator is bombarded, definitely it will produce P and S waves. Those P and S waves are collected by the detonators and eventually we will be able to understand the distance of different layers from that position. Understood?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is how it is being done in the land, and this is how it is being done in the sea. And eventually we got the internal structure of that. So इसके बारे में हम next class में बात करेंगे. ठीक है?
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.